Okay, we have some breaking news to bring you now. And Manchester United have posted their highest revenues on record, but have still made a loss. Our football correspondent Rob Dorset is alongside me. Rob, can you just talk us through the figures?
Yeah, look, I'm still digesting them. This is a heck of a weighty document that we've been given for Manchester United's annual accounts. But the headline, without a doubt, is that Manchester United achieved record revenues for 2024-25 of £666.5 million. Now, that's an extraordinary figure. It's the greatest revenue that the club has ever earned, despite not having Champions League football last season. And we know how lucrative that can be. But they still made an overall loss, a net loss, of £33 million. And so any Manchester United fans that are watching this now thinking, great, we can go and splash the cash and spend fortunes on new players, that isn't the message that's coming out of Manchester United today. It's still a message of prudence and that the restructuring goes on and that there's some tough decisions still to be made going forward. But it shows that commercially, from a corporate point of view, Manchester United are doing well in terms of how they're generating cash. This 5-year shirt sponsorship deal they've had with Snapdragon has been hailed as one of the most lucrative and valuable of any of its kind in world sport. And they've only just come to the end of the first year of a 5-year deal with them. So that's something that gives the Manchester United bosses a great deal of heart. But they're still urging caution, I think. We've seen a raft of cost-cutting measures in the last 12 months, and these accounts show that total operating expenses for the year were down by 4.5%. And so that's the equivalent of £51.5 million. So we know that they've had to cut costs. We know that they've made redundancies. More than 250 members of staff at Old Trafford have been made redundant in the last 12 months, with more potentially to come. But those cost-cutting measures seem to be working, and they've reduced Manchester United's losses.
You mentioned, though, they are still operating at a loss. How? What's behind that?
Because they spend an awful lot of money on players, and historically they've made some bad decisions with their recruitment. I think it's as simple as that. Sir Jim Ratcliffe said in March that the club would have gone bust by this Christmas, if they hadn't have made these cost-cutting measures. We know that some of the supporters have been unhappy with rising ticket costs and reducing the number of cut price tickets that have been available for young people and that sort of thing. But Jim Ratcliffe said, look, we had to make some tough decisions. We had to. Otherwise, Manchester United wouldn't have existed in the time to come. And I think you have to point to some of the outgoings that they've made in terms of players in the last transfer window. Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea, £40 million. That's the largest sale ever from a Manchester United academy player. I think it was done quite reluctantly. Marcus Rashford, they've got full wage recovery from Barcelona while he's out playing in La Liga. They think they got good deals for Anthony, albeit having lost an awful lot of money on the amount they paid for him, on Rasmus Højlund and Sancho, in terms of recouping their losses to a large extent from the loan deals that they've gone on. So it's all part of a long-term strategy from Ineos now. It's a painful time at Manchester United. There's no doubt about that. And these latest accounts show that whilst they're making a lot of money, they're earning a lot of money, record revenues of £666.5 million, they're still losing too much money. They're still spending too much money. And that's why I think Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe would probably say that they expect those cost-cutting measures to continue.
OK. Rob, thanks for now.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe spent more than £36 million on sacking hundreds of Man United staff, club able to post record revenues of £666.5 million for last season, in large part due to reduced operational costs. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's brutal jobs cull at Manchester United, involving the sackings of Erik ten Hag, Dan Ashworth and hundreds of staff, cost over £36 million in compensation. The cull helped reduce losses by more than £80 million as United's net figure fell to £33 million for the 12 months to June 30th this year. That is down from £113.2 million over the previous year, largely as a consequence of the club shedding around 400 jobs. That large-scale restructuring process, which has seen the club's headcount drop from 1,122 to around 700. Coupled with the dismissal of Ten Hag as manager in October and the exit of sporting director Ashworth 6 weeks later cost United a whopping £36.6 million. That figure does not include the £9.2 million United paid Sporting in compensation to hire Ruben Amorim as Ten Hag's replacement, with those costs spread across the length of the head coach's contract. United's failure to qualify for last season's Champions League combined with their lowest league finish for 51 years meant broadcast income plummeted by almost £50m. Despite that, United were able to post record revenues for last season of £666.5 million, thanks to record commercial and matchday income and reduced operational costs. The wage bill also fell £51.5 million to £313.2 million, largely due to players taking a 25% cut in wages since they were not competing in the Champions League. United's EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization, a financial tool used by banks and investors to assess a company's financial health and ability to generate cash, and the best reflection of underlying business performance, stood at £182.8 million. This is the highest of any club in European football since the COVID pandemic, and comes just 6 months after Ratcliffe claimed United would have gone bust by Christmas, but for his cost-cutting measures. Omar Barada, the United chief executive, said the ability to post record revenues during such a challenging year underlined the club's resilience. To have generated record revenues during such a challenging year for the club demonstrates the resilience which is a hallmark of Manchester United, Barada said. Our commercial business remains strong as we continue to deliver appealing products and experiences for our fans, and best-in-class value to our partners. As we start to feel the benefits of our cost reduction program, there is significant potential for improved financial performance, which will, in turn, support our overriding priority: success on the pitch. United have endured their worst start to a season for 33 years with just 4 points from as many games as Amorim's position comes under growing scrutiny. But Barada said United, who moved into a newly revamped £50 million training ground at the start of the season, are building for the long term. As we settle into the 2025-26 season, we are working hard to improve the club in all areas, Barada said. On the field, we are pleased with the additions we have made to our men's and women's first-team squads over the summer, as we build for the long term. Off the field, we are emerging from a period of structural and leadership change with a refreshed, streamlined organization equipped to deliver on our sporting and commercial objectives. We are also investing to upgrade our infrastructure, including completion of the £50 million redevelopment of our men's first-team building at Carrington, on time and on budget, following prior investment in our women's team facilities, to create a world-class environment for our players and staff. Meanwhile, planning continues to meet our ambition of developing a new stadium at Old Trafford as part of a transformational regeneration of the surrounding community. Sir Jim Ratcliffe told the obvious next Man United manager after Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim is under increasing pressure at Manchester United as he struggles for results, and René Meulensteen has named his replacement. René Meulensteen has pinpointed Michael Carrick as the obvious successor to Ruben Amorim at Manchester United because he knows the club. The Portuguese manager has faced mounting criticism recently following disappointing results at Old Trafford, with their humiliating 3-0 derby defeat to Manchester City piling on even more pressure. That setback is the latest in a long line that also includes last season's devastating Europa League final loss to Tottenham, and their shocking Carabao Cup elimination by League Two outfit Grimsby Town last month. While the Old Trafford hierarchy publicly supports his capabilities, reports from Mail Online indicate that first-team squad members are beginning to doubt Amorim's tactical approach. It is believed that United would face a £12 million compensation bill should they choose to dismiss the current boss, though some may contend this represents a modest investment if the club genuinely seeks